Good evening, yogis. My name is Brooke Blankenship, and tonight we are going to do a restorative practice that focuses on the hips. So opening up the hips, a lot of times we don't think of restorative as opening, but they actually are, allowing us to get into poses a lot deeper because we're holding them for a lot longer. So we're going to set ourselves up with lots of props, very comfortably and supported, and make our bodies feel awesome. So let's get started. So if you haven't gathered already, go ahead and gather a bolster, a block or two. I have two, although I admit I probably will only use one. But if you have two, go ahead and grab it. And then a rolled up blanket. All I could find was my daughter's old nap blanket. So any old blanket will do. Just roll it so that you get, kind of a long roll on it. And we're gonna adjust that a couple times through class too. So we're gonna start out. We're gonna start out in a straddle fold. Okay. Sorry, just looking at my notes there. So taking your feet out wide in front of you. Ooh, I'm gonna get that creak in my hip. All right, and then we're gonna bring that block down. So maybe this is might be where you want to have two blocks for extra support, but bringing your block down in front of you. So probably to the highest height to start with. And then setting the bolster down in between the legs with the block on top or underneath, okay? So we're going to just allow our upper bodies to start folding forward and see if we can find our head onto that bolster. Nice deep breathing. And then once you get that head on the bolster, this is also where you might want to use two blocks. So if you have something else to support you up, you need that extra height, that's totally cool. So I would put one block on the bottom with it in the wide angle and then one block above. And then bringing the head, that's better. So making those small adjustments to our body as needed. I've chosen to move my cheek to one side. So about halfway through, we will turn to the other side. Allowing the hands to come down to the mat, finding any wiggles or adjustments that you need to, and then just allowing the body to be heavy and to let gravity take its force. Bringing the head up and adjusting to the opposite side if you've gone for the opposite cheek. Pushing yourself slowly back up. And then walk to the side. We are going to set ourselves up into, and bringing your hands underneath of your knees. Don't do what I just did. Bring your hands underneath your knees and together. And then I want you to take your blocks. Let me go and check something real quick because I've lost visual of you. Ah, there's Anne. Hi, Anne. Okay, so we're going to take our blocks and set them up. If you don't have two blocks, one is just fine. You can just set it this way, okay? So either this way or this way. You're gonna have to play with it and see what feels comfortable to you. But what we're going to do is we're going to put the bolster on a little bit of an incline, okay? We're gonna allow our arms to open up wide, nice space through the chest, okay? And then I want you to take, so you're gonna take your hips and scoot it all the way up to the back of your bolster, okay? And then we're gonna bring our knees out wide, the soles of our feet together in supta baddha konasana. Grab your blanket, okay? And then you're gonna take that blanket and roll it. Oh, golly, you guys, what is happening? Ah. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I don't know if you lose sight of me, but I lose sight of you completely. Somebody keeps calling. Okay, so you're gonna take that blanket. Let's start by rolling it first, okay? So I just have my daughter's nap blanket, and I've just folded it in half, and then I'm just gonna roll it so I get kind of the long ways, and you know, just roll it like you would a yoga mat, okay? So I've got the long ways, I've got a little bit of chunk, but I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna wrap it around my ankles. So I'm providing a little bit of support for my ankles. If you need more support, you can also take the blocks and put them underneath of your knees here, okay? So if it's too much. So then I want you to figure out if this is the right height for you. You're gonna lay back on the bolster and allow the arms to come out fingers to curl up, just like we're in savasana. And then just allow the body to let go. Maybe closing the eyes here. And again, if this is not comfortable for you, adjust that block. Make it higher or lower. Add an additional block. Make it comfortable for you. You want to be able to sit here in this position for a full 5 minutes and not have to move. It is a practice, an absolute practice in focus. We have to try to focus to relax. True. Releasing the jaw and releasing the space in between the eyes. Allowing everything to be heavy. And feel magnetized by the gravity of the earth. Taking the hands to the outside of the legs and pushing the left leg towards the right leg. We're going to slowly and gently roll over to our side bodies. And slowly, slowly rolling your way back up to seated. Removing your blanket to the side. So this next one is the only standing pose of the entire class. I'm going to give you a couple of variations that you can try. or go to the one that just suits your fancy this evening, okay? So the first one is putting a block underneath of the shin. So we're gonna come into crescent lunge, okay? So crescent lunge, we're putting our, we've got our left and our right foot balanced out on railroad tracks, okay? So almost like you were in Warrior One and then you took that back foot up. I want you to take that block and stick it underneath of the shin or maybe even the knee. I think the knee is the way I tried it earlier. And then from there, just allowing yourself to find your balance, maybe allow the hips to drop a little bit more towards the ground. So if this is not a great option for you, another option is to put the bolster on top of your block and then set the knee all the way down, okay? So either or. All right, you guys. So from here, we're gonna come into supported pigeon pose. So coming back up, we're gonna remove this bolster, move it up to the front of your mat, and take your block with you too. So leave your legs out in that big stance if you haven't moved them already. And we're just gonna wiggle our feet, our left foot over to the edge of the mat, and then come into your pigeon pose, okay? So we're gonna set up the block in front of you and the bolster, bringing the bolster maybe over top of the top thigh, okay? And then allowing the upper body to rest. Arms outside. Sinking in. Focusing on the breath. Pushing yourself back up, being gentle with yourself, moving slowly. We're going to come back through a tabletop. And just take a moment to neutralize, wiggle the hips around. And then we're going to make our way back up to standing. Rolling up slowly. Ooh. All right, so we're going to go to the other side. We're going to walk those right toes out this time into our lunge, okay? So bending that front knee, finding the block underneath of the knee or the shin, and then maybe getting a wider stance in the feet, and then allowing the torso to drop down towards the ground. I think that this is enough to focus on with balance without adding any arm movements to it. So y'all are welcome to lift the arms up if you want, but I just prefer to keep them by my sides or at my hips. It also helps me remember, because sometimes that right hip likes to whoop, come up top. It helps me remember to kind of level them out too. Breathing into it, focusing on that breath. Two more really big breaths in here. Big breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And then lowering the hands down to the ground. We're going to remove that block. Heel toe your right foot over to the opposite side of the mat. Set yourself up. Find that bolster wherever is going to feel awesome to you. Adjust your block however is going to feel awesome to you. My right side is not as flexible as my left, so I might need to like do that and be okay with it. So knowing where your body is and allowing this to be a healing pose for you. So allowing yourself to find some peace in the pose and being able to rest and relax without feeling fidgety. It's so hard to do. Trust me, I know I am the worst when it comes to doing restorative yoga for my body, but honestly, it feels so good and I know my body needs more of it. Just that rest time and relaxation, and that, you know, we're strengthening as we lay in these poses, and stretch, ultimately deep stretching everywhere. I'm going to be quiet now and let you enjoy your pigeon, focusing on your breath when it starts to get hard. Pushing yourself back up. We're going to move that bolster out of the way, blocks out of the way. Make your way into tabletop position and wiggle around as you need to. You are welcome to push back into a downward facing dog if that's what your body is feeling. And then we're going to set ourselves up in a restorative child's pose. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this depending on how it feels in your body. So the first is to put the bolster or pillow underneath of your bum, and then allow the head to come down. Maybe we take the head to a block, and then allowing yourself to just be comfortable in your child's pose. Okay, so that's option 1. If bringing your hips down towards your heels does not bother you, you can either put a block back there just to prop yourself up a little bit, and then allow the bolster to become your support for your chest, okay? So 2 options there. I just have the block in between my heels, okay? Just holding on to my seat. And then I'm gonna fold my face, my chest over the bolster. Again, maybe I bring that block for my head to rest on, allowing the arms to stretch out, releasing the shoulders. And making any adjustments that you need to make this pose feel good in your body. Pushing yourself back up now. Moving your accoutrements out of the way. We are going to come into a supported fish pose. So our fish, our lower back is going to be supported by that bolster. And then our feet are going to stretch out. I want you to take your block and put it in between your ankles. So we're going to come back into fish pose, where we're going to lay out, even maybe you can bring the arms up wide, allow the head to fall back, okay? You can even bring the rolled up blanket behind your neck for extra support if you'd like. Your feet are either going to stay on the floor on either side of the blocks, or if it hurts your back at all, because this is a bit of a back bend, you're going to bring your feet up onto the blocks, okay? So options. Find your way into your fish pose. I'm pulling that block, that bolster all the way up to my hips, and then allowing my body to fall back, maybe taking this, putting it behind my neck. Opening the arms up, finding that fish. Imagine that breath, each breath you take in is expanding the heart. Slowly and being very gentle with yourself, you're going to start to roll over off of your mat or off of your bolster onto your side, and then slowly pushing yourself back up. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do is a revolved torso pose. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to call this one, but you guys are going to sit sideways on your mat, and you're going to take your bolster and stick it all the way up towards your hip, your left hip, okay? And then take your left leg, stretch it out in front of you, stretch your right leg back, cross your chest over your bolster. Now, you might need to set up with additional props underneath, maybe an additional block or two. So find what feels best. And then lean the chest forward. Allow the head to be heavy. Maybe take the side of the cheek. Your legs do not have to be completely straight. You're just stretching them out. Twisting through the torso. Pushing yourself back up through seated. I'm going to swing my legs around and go to the back of my mat because I have this wall behind me that you see me keep touching because it's so close. So make your adjustments as you need to. You're welcome to go to the back side of your mat too, if that's more comfortable. We're gonna take that bolster up to the right side of our hip this time. We're going to swing that left leg behind us. Maybe bringing that bolster or that block underneath the bolster, giving it a little bit of height, but keeping it right against that thigh or that hip so that we can just turn our bodies and allow our chest to fold over. Allowing the cheek to fall down to one side. Allow everything to just drop in. Feel supported by the earth beneath you. Pushing yourself back up to seated. Swinging that left leg around. Straightening the legs out. Holds of the staff. Just allowing them to straighten out for a moment. We're going to come into our final resting pose. savasana, I'm going to give you a couple of options for making it feel a little more special today. Restorative, if you will. So you're welcome to go back into like a supta baddha konasana, which is bound wide legs. Some people really like this, so just elevating your feet while you're in savasana is an option. So bringing those knees out wide, okay? Another option is to straighten the legs and leave those legs right over a bolster, okay? Another option is to take your rolled up blanket and stick it underneath your neck for a little more support. I highly recommend that one. And then bringing your arms out wide. Maybe you would like some pillows underneath them there. But just allowing the body to find stillness, take up space, be still, and enjoy the stillness. Respect life. The message came softly, gently, during the sweat lodge ceremony I went to in Sedona. At the end of the evening, the shaman thanked the rocks for glowing with heat, bringing their passion to evening, symbolizing passion in our lives. She thanked the wood that created the fire and heated the rocks for giving its life so that we could have warmth, so that we could celebrate the event. She thanked the water for cooling our throats, and she thanked God for life, for each of our lives, for our lifetimes on this planet. Respect life, all of it. The world moves so fast. It's so easy to forget to respect all that lives, all that is. We get so harried, so hurried, we take life for granted. Take time to remember that all life is sacred. All that is part of creation is a creation. And the same life force moves through us all. With all its trials, tests, worries, heartaches, and sometimes heartbreaks, life is a gift. A few short years on this planet, then we are gone. Do not spend it worrying about all that has gone wrong. You will miss the lesson. You will miss the gift of life. Respect life, all of it. Respect and honor your own. Beginning to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Slowly bringing movement back into the body. Removing your props from underneath of you and slowly rolling to the side, allowing your body to rest here for just a moment before pushing yourself back up to seated. Bringing our palms together, thumb knuckles to the forehead,
The light in me loves and honors the light in each of you. Bow and say Namaste. Yay.